Like maybe 5 or 6 of them gone down that one.
Well, at least he didn't break. But he did have some problems.
You mean Tavo had problems?
Well, so did Matt. So Rob Mack had some problems. He didn't get to that position.
I like your gloves.
Huh?
I like your gloves. ORP.
Buddy.
You didn't get that far behind by not having issues.
So Ryan Arciero was first physical.
Yes.
So he likely will win it.
He won.
No, actually, I want to say Andy's probably might have the overall win.
It was the corrected time.
Corrected
They're
time.
gonna have to do that.
Andy McMillan may have it.
So what was the story of the race? I didn't have a race scanner.
I couldn't tell you that. I have no idea.
How can you tell if it's going this way or that way? You can tell.
You kind of look at the dust. If there's a chopper, you can follow the.
If I'm standing there, you can the sound carries and it's over that direction. Or it's
like they're coming down this one right here.
yeah.
Did you catch that number?
Yeah, number 10,
Ampudia. Alan Ampudia.
That's your friend. They're friends with Vildosola, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I followed you guys in. I was the green Cherokee. I was the guy who was tailgating you on the way in.
Oh, I hear you.
Sorry about that.
Don't worry.
I was in a hurry.
Don't worry.
So you're here for your 7 car, your 155 car is out.
Correct. Not just the 7 car's not racing today, but just the 155. But he's out of the race, so that's why we're.
I keep him in there when I forget. Unfortunately, when I forget.
Let's have a new dog here.
Buddy. Buddy. Come on, buddy. Buddy.
Yeah. Really, what they need to be. So this is what I'm surprised nobody's made a glove like this.
Buddy.
They need to be, like.
So how long have you been coming to the off-road races?
For about 12, 15 years.
Wow. So how many San Felipes have you done?
I've done 2 in a Class 7S and then on a 1600.
I mean, support or racing?
Just racing, and then support we've done 7, and then recently helping out beach racing, and also trophy truck for Fanatic Racing.
So what's the plan for tonight? Chill out after the race with your
Probably
your team member.
Well, there's nothing to celebrate anymore, so just go down to downtown and have a good time. A few tacos, beers, just hang out with the family and friends.
Where's the hangout? Malecon, Miramar, or Rosita's, or Rice and Beans, or which one is your favorite?
The one right across 7-Eleven. I'm not sure what, I can't remember the name of it.
Okay, 7-Eleven. There's a 7-Eleven on Malecon, right?
Yeah. But go to bed early because we have to cross tomorrow morning.
Yeah. So what time are you planning to get in the morning? Just before 10 a.m. Get over the border. Try to.
No, a lot sooner. Leave here around 8 a.m. Or tonight. I'm not sure yet.
Leave tonight.
Yeah. Probably go back to the hotel, shower, pack, and bounce. How about yourself?
I'm gonna hang back a day. I don't want to be part of this whole.
So yeah, the traffic.
I've been thrashing getting here. I don't want to thrash on the way back. I want to relax a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to go to Puertecitos and just totally chill out. My insurance runs out Monday noon, so
Might as well take advantage.
yeah.
You cross through Calexico or TJ?
Calexico.
Yeah,
How about you?
same. My brother and they live in Calexico. I live in Rancho Cucamonga.
Rancho Cucamonga, you're down the
Yeah.
street from me,
You'll pass,
Pasadena.
you'll pass, yep.
Yeah, I passed you on the way here.
Yep.
So what do you do in Rancho Cucamonga?
I'm that's where I work. I'm an industrial engineer.
You have an engineering degree?
Yes, sir. Got pipe and one.
I'm a PhD electrical engineering,
Nice.
University of Illinois. My former office mate, grad school Martin Eberhard, co-founded Tesla Motors.
Oh, really?
You've heard of Tesla Motors?
Yeah, yeah. I've interviewed for them for their Ontario facility.
They're
At
sales.
supervisor. No, for their repair center.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't get the job, obviously. I'm working for Ingram Micro. It's a distribution center of technology stuff.
Do you have a business card?
No, I don't.
I'll give you
LinkedIn.
mine.
Yeah, I would get your business card. So I do consulting on the side once in a while, just process improvement and stuff.
So you're Hispanic, right?
Yeah.
So it's cool that minorities, like especially Hispanic, is a huge demographic in Southern California. You get involved with STEM, science, technology,
Correct.
engineering, math.
Yep.
So you're set for life.
Pretty much.
You got that thing under your belt, and you got
Technical.
to progressively work your way up.
He's about to go to junior high, so I've been telling him, especially here in the valley, there's not a lot of robotics or STEM programs.
Yeah.
So I've been telling him to go down to LA. There's a few festivals that have STEM. And in order to help him out, I gave him what's the name of that? Sonos? Not Sonos. Sphero. I gave him that
Yeah.
little robot that he can
Yeah.
program. I give him that. That way he at least gets the knowledge of coding. That way he knows and learns stuff I didn't learn at my age. Trying to help him out.
Pasó más rápido que la puya.
I don't think Dan has ever. The unofficial result was Dan took second.
Again?
He took first, Dan took second.
What happened to Lofton?
He came by pretty. He came by. He just had a bad start. He didn't start until like freaking 41st. So, but that's a.
I didn't see Bryce at all. Well, actually, yes, I just saw him race him on 5. He had a slow pace.
That's actually good though for Dan. I don't think he's ever taken a second at all.
Well, he took first last, what is it, Mint 400? As of his first race, he won.
Right, but down here he's never
Oh,
taken anything better than a fourth.
Yep.
I was talking to Dan on
Somebody
contingency.
said that he broke or did something.
I talked to Dan McMillan in contingency.
Yeah.
I said he was a dark horse for a win, but he came in second, so maybe I almost called it.
You jinxed it. Or you jinxed it.
Or you jinxed it, yeah. You need to turn the camera around. I may have jinxed it.
I mean, he's the poor guy that gets flack for being fourth and fifth, but then I think up to second, that's a good step up.
Down here, that's a good thing for him.
Especially with the amount of cars for this race. It's been a while since been.
Well, I don't think this. I want to say how this whole race played out. I don't think it played out the way a lot of even people who are trying to predict the race, wanted it to play out.
For the 500, or just in general?
In general, I mean, it's a 350-mile race. It's a your qualifier for the 500.
I'm glad Ryan, if he won, that Ryan won just because of his big accident, right?
Yeah.
And then his co-pilot's still at the hospital, right?
Yeah, he's paralyzed, I think. No, from like the waist down, he couldn't feel his legs.
Wait a minute, I mean this race?
No. At the mid 400, he crashed really hard at like mile 84, 85. At the mid.
So the latest update from the co-driver is that he's paralyzed?
That I don't know.
Broken back. That's.
Don't quote me. Quote the Vildosola guy.
Don't quote.
Well, no, he talked to somebody from
one of their. It was one of their pit crew. It was his buddy was the co-driver. But
Who?
he said he was still in the hospital, broken back, and he couldn't feel from like the waist down.
I mean, unfortunately, it was a supplementary co-driver. It's not the main guy.
Yeah.
I mean, fortunately or unfortunately, regardless, it's so bad, but.
Do you know the guy's name?
I do not.
He's got a good friend called Gary.
Log.
¿Cómo iba el cops con la?
Yeah. The cop's car came through with a big old log inside the pit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The race car or the one car?
No, it was the spec truck.
With a log through the.
In the cabin.
Damn.
Oh, remember how I was telling you how I got into STEM?
Yeah.
Because of, I did MES.
Cosmos.
I did Cosmos and MES in high school, and then also just especially living in Calexico, Mexicali, there's a lot of manufacturers, maquiladoras. So I got the opportunity to tour some of them, and that's when I decided, you know what, I have to do engineering, automation, be involved in the service industry. And then also after that, my dad started a trucking company, so that's where everything's related, supply chain logistics, and see how can you automate or use technology to help you minimize the cost.
There's a guy, Chad, his dad raced Class 7 4x4. He's like in Chevrolet, he's wearing, like, looks Chevrolet corporate. He goes to the races. So sort of like a Chevy person that supports the Chevy race teams. So that guy, broke out of the, you could be trapped in a mold. Off-road racing is like real-world knowledge. People typically don't have STEM degrees, but he broke out. I think
Especially now, all the engineering behind these trucks with the wind tunnels and different suspension, how it adjusts as it goes. But I'm so surprised how someone hasn't, I'm not sure if we don't have the technology or not the capacity or no one really wants to explore, is how can you in the front of the truck put a sensor or something that can measure the depth real quick of the bumps or I'm not sure how that would help, both through automatic adjustable suspension, or at least tell you, hey, this is not the outcome you're expecting.
that way long time ago, there was this real hokey idea. The Herps helicopter had a radio control transmitter, and they would try to read the terrain for the driver. And of course, that's illegal because you can't have communication. Right.
Oh, so they want to see wherever.
Yeah, and they were using
distance.
radio control to adjust the suspension. So then what you're talking about is onboard sensors. Could be like, autonomous cars, they got microwave near distance sensors. You have a LiDAR, laser-based, build up a point cloud. There's solid state and there's a laser-based. And then you've got computer vision and just cameras. So that's the thing about technology. You start pushing the technology, like autonomous cars can push the technology and good things will happen, just like the NASA, the space program. All there are a ton of spin-offs, technology spin-offs.
Because of that.
Yeah, because look at the cell phones. It came out of JPL, the cameras and smartphones. JPL, you know, robotic spacecraft explore the solar system.
I think to a certain degree, I think most of it was pushed by the government for a period of time, and then after that, like just private companies were the ones that take it to the next level and started pushing the envelope.
I read an article where that JPL, there was some kind of a company right outside JPL that was really responsible for pushing the smartphone cameras the way they are.
And then also how they hold technology because they know it's going to affect the profits. Like just as simple with the difference between the fluorescent lights and the LEDs. A lot of people had them for a few years, but say, you know what, let's not push it because then it's going to minimize their sales, just the replenishment time. I heard that.
There's another truck on this line.
A truck on the back.
On this line.
Viene, mira. Viene machine. Es una rosita.
He was the first one through. He'd been leading the whole race.
Was that the one called Nice Ride? That trophy truck spec that just went by?
No, I'm not sure what's the name of the team.
Anyway, getting back to your STEM thing, back in the 60s, they had a program called Head Start. So the first African American PhD in biology, microbiology, or is that she was like a black woman from the Boston Projects. How the heck did she break out of that? Because it was this Head Start program implemented by Lyndon Johnson.
Did you see that movie? I'm a big movie fan, and I think movies do prepare for the future, especially like the Tony Stark's movies, Iron Man. Like if you see their technology they have there, if you look at the date of the movie and the technology they show there, then 8 years later, that's when we came up with the phones, or the smartphones. But then also that speak when you're talking about African Americans, the movie from the engineers. Remember how NASA used to hire African Americans just to calculate, use them as computers.
Yeah.
You remember that movie? It's called. It was a really popular movie.
Yeah.
Like 5 years ago it came out.
I'm gonna tell you, my former high school science teacher, he's a PhD in education, University of Illinois, Dr. Doug Dirks. He told me, I mean, he got involved with Western Cook County high school education, so teaching science. So he told me he's interested. It's a big deal. How do you get minorities interested in STEM? That's what he was telling me back in 2016. Now, of course, the women are dropping like flies. As I up to like middle school, the women are involved interested in science, but all of a sudden, high school is just huge drop off. Of course, if you don't have it in high school, then there's a real big problem with women in STEM in college, undergrad. So then they're trying to figure that out, and there's this whole culture thing. The culture thing is it's uncool to be smart. It's cool to be stupid. In STEM, you have to be smart.
Yep.
So there's this.
You get the negative connotation, like, oh, you're
a nerd.
Yeah, you're a nerd, or you're going to the after-school programs, stuff like that. In Cal Poly, there was a program called the MEP, Maximizing an Engineer's Potential. I mean, it was for like minorities too. I was gonna be part of that, but it's just the prerequisites. It was like a lot, so I decided to join a fraternity.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably the biggest mistake I made. I was very close to dropping out first quarter.
Because you were with a fraternity?
Yeah, and then also just being outside of house and then just partying fraternity events almost every day.
Frats are really getting a bad name with all this.
Hazing.
Yeah, the guy that just died at Penn State, and those guys that in the frat, they're going to jail like 6 or 9 months.
Well, there was one in Riverside. I mean, Irvine or Riverside. He like.
Yeah, I heard about the UC Irvine one.
Yeah.
You know, frats. I'm gonna tell you, get rid of them. how you can't change them, so get rid of it. You know, my university, University of Illinois, it's got the biggest Greek culture of all universities. University of Illinois. Yeah. By the way, my University of Illinois is a second-ranked engineering program, tied with Stanford, MIT ranked #1. This is when I was there, mid-70s. So
how did you end up in Illinois out there?
I grew up there. My dad was an aerospace engineering professor and department head.
Oh.
My dad was involved with the design of the F4, McDonnell Douglas F4 Phantom, the iconic fighter bomber Vietnam conflict.
Oh, yeah.
I was born in St. Louis because McDonnell Douglas is in space in St. Louis.
And how did he get into like engineering and stuff?
He was like a mechanical engineering major in China, escaped during the war, then got a PhD at University of Illinois.
Yeah. To the back?
Another truck on the back
To the
side.
back.
Yeah, back side.
I think Vildosola was right behind this guy.
What did you run into each other?
So, answer to your question, it was part of my family. Just like all these racers here, they're following family traditions like Ryan Arciero.
There's only a few that have just, it's not a family tradition or they're not trust fund kids. They build it on their own. That's why a lot of people admire Rob McCracken, just because he started from the bottom.
That guy is not only is an excellent driver, but he's a very intelligent guy. It's like Sun Tzu Art of War says, you don't want to outfight your opponent, you want to outthink him. So Rob McCracken was a really, really intelligent guy. Yeah. So then he told me, I drive slow enough to win. Remember a lot.
Front.
You went back?
Could be a girl win. She could know. She could back and be a girl win. She started Sarah Price. She could be a winner right there. Don't know this. I know she was.
You mean that was a female racer?
That was a female racer.
4 Wheel Parts sponsored?
Yeah.
Who's Sarah Price? Never heard of her.
I think she might have started racing in side-by-sides.
Really?
And then she got the sponsorship to start racing 6100.
She's not related to Toby Price?
I'm not sure.
So probably.
Either way, that could be a first female win in a 60 in a trophy spec truck down here.
Segundo.
Oh, you not go first? Second or first?
Is there second?
Right, physical.
She's physically second, but on corrected time, she could be
There's
first.
another truck coming to the back.
To the front.
Back?
To the back, yeah.
scratch, I've never built. I've built pre-runners and stuff like that from scratch. The only ones I've actually built up from scratch are bigger pro trucks.
Through the back.
I used to do all. I did like. I took the pro truck track.
You learn it like you go over the traps going on. Just in there.
Yeah, exactly. No, I learned all that on my own.
The director now.
I was one of the builders for most of those projects.
We also have a shop too, fabrication shop. Some of the guys we have worked, they used to work, they started with Romo and then they moved on and worked for like Al Torres and Imperial. And then they just made a few trucks. Especially, I mean, they're the most that we've built been so far. Well, they have our shop. 1600, a 10, a few 1600s, and then a 10, and then that's it for now.
Spec.
I don't actually care to build.
You don't care about that's not where the money's at. The money's at prepping.
Yeah.
Prepping and then just manufacturing parts.
Manufacturing
But
parts.
right now in razors or Can-Ams? Right now.
Yeah, razors and
You-
Can-Ams,
yeah.
doing like kits for
right
those.
now it's a
Building those things,
Yeah.
you make no money.
Yep.
It's more of a headache.
We're in the.
I mean, I've got 1, 2, 3. I got 3 Broncos and a Ranger
Motorcycle.
and a.
We have a 7S truck. We're in the process of building it across the 7 Open, but
He raced a 7S with a guy by the name of Don Beaumont for a few years back. Like, I don't know, it was probably 10 years ago when I was in high school. They raced that. How long did you guys race the 7S?
3 years,
3 years, and then before that they raced like a 1600 car.
and then I've raced obviously a pro truck.
back in the.
And then I was racing the trophy truck with that Cantina team.
Oh, okay.
And that one I rebuilt over at Stewart's shop.
Those were nice pre-runners. The Stewart,
The luxury ones.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why I was around too many of those, and I was like, I'm cutting my truck apart. I don't want a frame anymore.
I have sitting in my shop. I now own, and I'll say I own it because it was left in my shop. All the tooling for all the pro trucks, everything.
crazy.
Chassis jigs, suspension fixtures, like all that shit.
Who owned that for a while? Like the last owner,
Ron Jackson.
Ron Jackson.
That's when That's when everything was moved into my shop, and I built.
Scaroni's on that for a while too, or no? Not the pro truck.
No,
No, that was Trophy Light, right?
Scaroni's built the trophy lights.
And then they
Are
sold.
those even still around?
Yeah, actually, we're one of our teams. They have a
Ricky
trophy light.
Johnson bought the trophy light program.
I think isn't it Cobb
right now.
the owner?
Yeah, but Ricky Johnson helped him.
Yeah, he's a main.
Yeah.
Y el Roberto Romo fue el primero que los hizo. Con Scaroni.
So what about pro truck? I thought I saw one pro truck in there, but that's just not really.
No, there's still a class for them, but
Yeah,
they've
Mango
only,
has one.
the last one that was built was number 50.
We just updated one and turned it into a 6100 truck for a guy by the name of Alan Levinston out of Vegas. He's kind of like a no-name guy, but he actually I think just bought an Armada truck.
Oh, okay.
So
What do you think's better, the Armadas or the Brentals?
I don't know. I
Don't
kind
know.
of like the Armada trucks.
I haven't really got into them, but I know looking at a lot of these things, I don't think these guys spend enough time testing. I know that. Everybody that I've talked to about them, they say, oh, well, it doesn't do this, doesn't do that, and I just look at. I have to bring it back to how the pro trucks were, and I mean, could I take a pro truck and be just and do well in that class
Specialized, yeah.
Yeah.
They're trying to do a little bit of everything, right? Trophy truck or out there in the car and then here and there.
Yeah. But I mean, you can take them. They're a light chassis. You can turn them into a 6100, and the whole point is to keep all those trucks in and around $5,000, 5,000 pounds. Is that in any of those classes? And that's. I mean, I talked to a guy who said that he didn't deal anything with the Armada 6100 truck, but he dealt with somebody who raced the Armada trophy truck. And they're totally two different animals. And one weighs in at 5,800 pounds, obviously, and then I've been told that the Armada one weighs in at 4,800 pounds. You know, one's built like a 10 car, one's built like a trophy truck.
I'm assuming you learned from your dad, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your dad?
Yeah.
I'm a big mountain bike fan.
Yeah?
Cannondale is famous for light frames. Their nickname is Crack and Fail because it's so light. it's underbuilt, but I was told that
Like
off-road rate.
You know, Kamali's gonna crack, DOM's gonna bend.
Off-road racing, that their chassis are all underbuilt as far as structural integrity. Dave Chrysler told me this back in mid-90s. Remember Cal Wells Jr. who ran PPI, Ivan Stewart's?
Yeah.
They went to UC San Diego, the Supercomputer Center, and tried to have them do an off-road chassis. Guess what happened? It was so heavy because that was built structural integrity, but it was too damn heavy. So that's the thing about off-road racing. You're gonna have to cut corners. You're cutting corners. You're sacrificing structural integrity. You're gonna get cracks after each race. So they just have to live with it.
Yeah.
Because you can't have it too heavy.
Well, usually they've done some different designs where they build a structurally integrate a cab. So you build the cab right. It's the front end and the rear end that you have to try and lighten up, and you have to make that work. That's just the way that's.
It's like, where's the weight coming from? You know, in mountain biking, they have a thing called weight weenies. You know what weight weenie is? They cut a few grams here, 10 grams there, and it adds up.
Yeah, but it doesn't in a trophy truck or a race truck. And you also got to look at what are you trying to gain on. I mean, if you go look at a NASCAR, you know, what the weights in a NASCAR are using on DOM, they run into it's making the cab sound.
Gets away with it, yeah, definitely bad habits.
So that if it does roll, does crash, you're not getting hurt. Doesn't mean you're not going to get hurt. I mean, but if you're going to rolling on this versus rolling on concrete. That's two different animals.
Yeah.
But in order for the
450 front
for everything to work properly, and you gotta find a way to make push points. Your nodes, everything, your push points and everything have to hit just right, so that when the trucks are pushing up, they're pushing against each other. The rear ends. Same thing on the rear end. I'm not going to say it's never going to crack, but.
Or crate trained, I guess.
You know, you come out here and see what they go through versus what a NASCAR goes through. NASCAR doesn't do anything. Come out here and see these holes that they go through at 100, 120 plus, 130. Some of them doing 140 through this stuff.
Yeah, X-Track. You know, X-Track is the...
Yeah, we use their transmission.
So, Andrew Hurt, I know him. He's vice president of X-Track based in Indianapolis. X-Track is the exclusive gearbox supplier for IndyCar. So they're interested in off-road. So Andrew Hurt showed up in 2006, Parker 425. I met him. So he's a legit mechanical engineer with a master's degree, graduated with honors from the UK university. So he's saying, he interested in off-road racing with race teams with development partners. AGM, All German Motorsports, Martin Christensen, a real smart guy from Denmark. So then, guess what? They helped. They were an X-Track development partner. In 2007, they were breaking the sequential gearboxes. So they returned the broken gearbox. They found the broken part. They did FEA, finite element analysis. You know what that is? Basically, a computer program that tries to predict structural integrity, stress points. So they did that a few times after races. Guess what? They got a working gearbox. All German Motorsports won their first Class 1 race, 2008, score San Felipe. That was like 11 years ago. So then that's what, that's the purpose of motorsports. It's a real-world testing for manufacturers. You know, traditionally NASCAR was engine development, you know, all the General Motors, Chevrolet, Ford, Dodge. It's primarily that. Now we got chassis, engine, suspension, and shock absorbers. That's 4. There's probably others. Look at Formula One. They're leveraging hybrid technology, regenerative braking. They call it KERS, Kinetic Energy Recovery System. So you got a vice president of technology like in Formula One or IndyCar. I know the vice president of technology for IndyCar. He gave me a VIP invite to the 2013 Long Beach Grand Prix. I'm going to Long Beach Grand Prix next weekend, by the way. So I'm there to see if... so they got a guy who understands technology, and then I can talk to him. I'm a PhD in electrical engineering. And then they can start doing what Formula One is doing, you know, taking the latest and greatest in technology, in this case hybrid. Hybrid is hot, electric cars are hot. So then, you know, off-road racing, there's no vice president of technology. You know, Roger Norman really likes media technology, but he should have a guy, a vice president of media technology, also vice president of technology, like just suspension, chassis, shock absorbers, the whole bit.
Oh yeah, but it's all done differently.
But I mean, then if you have a vice president, then he can go out and do business development, and that's what most companies have. To go and do a connect like a KERS for. Guess what? Score. The first electric car finished the score race last year's 2018 Baja 1000. It was a female USC engineering student using a Tesla Motors battery pack.
Yeah, no, I mean they've got teams out here that test things like Vildosola is using an X-Track training.
Right now in this race?
But my buddy works at the BMW
Using X-Track training
shop right next door to that one.
development of paddle
And I guess
shifting
they
and
have a
things
guy
like
on their security cameras
that.
like going in
The manufacturers go
to
and
the
deal
store at
with
like 1
a lot
a.m.
of teams.
and then at 1:30 a.m. it catches.
But you have to have a guy at the race sanctioning body, like Formula One,
Yeah, but-
FIA.
But see,
Yeah,
they
but
don't.
that was
You
from, like,
have
the
too
back of
many
the store, like, where
different
their cameras saw the guy go in.
There's no
So
way
that
to
they're,
do it. If
we
you
don't
told
have to
every
come
trophy
out
truck you
or
guys all have to
whatever,
use
like, they
this,
saw somebody go
they
in,
wouldn't do it.
I guess like the ATF
That's the way the
went
sport's always been.
in there and like was recording. or,
They
like,
won't
they're
race
recording.
something if they can't use what they believe is better. Never happened. Yeah. But yeah, the whole point of an unlimited trophy truck is to use whatever you want, put whatever you want to spend on it, not have you limited by somebody telling you you have to use that training over that training.
But if you have a vice president of technology says, we're going to go out and we're going to set up a program, you can choose. You don't have to, you have to, but then...
How are you going to choose between X-Track and a Chevy transmission or a Ford transmission or a Mendiola transmission or a Hewlin transmission? I could go on all of these.
What about Albans? Albans?
I'm just saying, I'm just giving you a choice of an engineer. This is what uses, this is what works. Same thing with rear ends, third members. You know, they're going to use what works. You can have somebody who in IndyCar, they all use a lot of the same parts. Period.
Right. See, IndyCar, I'm very familiar with that. Is that it used to be like Andy Granatelli showed up in 1969 with a turbine power. I mean, this is like what you were saying. It's completely unlimited. You can come in with anything you want, almost. But now IndyCar, because of the catastrophic CART IRL split, is now turned into a spec series. They had aero kits the last 2 years, and it got too damn expensive.
Yeah, and that's just it. These guys out here that race these trophy trucks, they ain't in question of money. They want to do what they want to do, and money is not an object. Plain and simple. You got millionaires, billionaires, whatever. They want to come out here and run this like the way they want to run it.
But look, I mean, if you have somebody organized, right?
That's what the promoter's organizing the event. Other than that, there's no money in trophy truck.
But I'll tell you, like the Courage, it attracts manufacturer interest and
They don't want to track.
You know how you win $1 million in off-road
These
racing?
guys do not. These guys do not want a loop track. They hate loop tracks. If they want a point-to-point destination, so it can be a giant loop at a point-to-point. But a lot of these guys do not want to be closed into a 70-mile loop.
Oh, is that what that truck was going?
That's what they have short. That's what short course racing is for. That's what stadium racing is for. But when it comes to desert racing,
We were having
they want to run free.
I think they said like 270 or 280.
So look, for example, Selfish and VW came in what was it, back in 2006 or 7, I forgot. They were going to come in and infuse money into the sport because, you know, the Volkswagen was traditionally all these open wheel cars, 126, it was a VW.
And they will. They don't have a problem bringing a spec class in. You can run a spec class. They can this is a spec class for your vehicle here, but your vehicle is also going to run against that $2.5 million trophy truck over there. It's not going to race against it. It's going to be behind it. That's in its own class. This is its own class. They have spec classes.
But let's say, like for example, Casey Folks, the best in the desert, he brought in Ford. Ford gave us some sort of
And if you run in their program, if you run a Ford motor, and you're running a Ford motor, you may be running a Ford motor, not a Ford body. There's a difference. If you run a Ford motor, Ford body, and you have the big Ford yellow blue sticker on there, and you win, Ford will throw some money at you. Not a lot, but they'll throw money.
This is what I'm talking about. Basically, set up some sort of a what do they call it? I guess promotion or some sort of a deal arrangement, a business to attract manufacturer interest and money.
But there's no track that's going to be for these trucks.
There's no track.
There is no tracks. You say a track.
No, he said attract.
Attract. A-T-T-R-A. Attract. Attract.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can attract all these sponsors. That's fine. They're more than welcome now.
Guess what? A German manufacturer is about to become the third engine supplier for IndyCar. Okay, right now it's Honda and Chevrolet.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is they're welcome now. If a German manufacturer wanted to sponsor a VW car in that class, they're more than welcome to do that.
Guess what? Mark McMillan raced a Porsche Power Chenoweth, I believe, and it was back in the 90s, and he got invited to the Porsche plant in Germany. So I was joking with Mark McMillan at the King of the Hammers 2019 about 2 months ago, saying, what if Porsche came back into off-road racing, because he has a track record with Porsche. Porsche invited him to the Porsche plant because he won the freaking score class 1 or 2, whatever.
He probably said he probably wouldn't do it because it wouldn't survive out here at the speeds he wants to run. He's not going to race a limited car.
But look what's going on in 24-hour Le Mans is that Audi dominated, and it was a female crew chief or engineer. Was Lena Gada. She's from India, was born and raised in the UK. Then Audi had that Dieselgate, so Audi had to pull out. And so then Porsche came in and won. And look at how Mercedes is absolutely killing it in Formula One. That's German modus operandi.
Those are all track cars.
24-hour Le Mans is like endurance, 24 hours.
I understand, but you're on a paved track.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between a paved track and what this is.
Well, what is off-road racing? It's endurance. It's not a race. It's like endurance.
It's endurance between man and machine.
And there's desert and the environment.
Man, environment, the machine. That's why everybody gets pissed off when somebody says, "Oh, we moved a bunch of rocks because."
Matomi Wash.
Yeah, because people are going to get stuck in there, or we can't get through there. Well, that's off-road racing. I would be pissed off about. That's off-road racing. Figure out how to get through it. That's what the whole sport's about. You know, the tougher the race, the better it is. But when it comes to sponsorship and manufacturing, they're all welcome in this sport.
But you need a vice president of technology to start designing programs, a development program.
What are they designing? That's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to figure out what they need to design.
Okay, here are the gearbox manufacturers: Albins, Extract.
And you have them all. So what is somebody gonna what is somebody who belongs to the promoter gonna do with that?
Okay, the autonomous car was birthed in off-road racing. The Darby Grand Challenge 2004 Barstow, 2005 Prem.
You're not answering the question.
The autonomous car is a predicted $20 billion industry by 2020, next year. It came out of off-road racing. So now you have a vice president of technology of SCORE to say, look, we got an autonomous car program. We're going to start, cars you buy today, they have ADAS, assisted driver advanced systems. These days, Tesla's got autopilot. You can literally hover your hand above the wheel, and it's almost not fully autonomous, semi-autonomous. So in other words, you start introducing driver assist in off-road racing. Now you attract Toyota. Toyota spent $1 billion 2014 to start the TRI, Toyota Research Institute. I know the CEO of TRI is Dr. Gil Pratt.
I don't think that those type of programs would work in this sport. I don't.
You've got consumer cars, and then you get Ford,
what
Chevrolet.
I'm saying is an autonomous vehicle. It may be been developed out here, but you're not racing. It's something between being racing and developing. I just don't think it'd work out.
Look at automatic transmission. That is a form of automation. Automatic transmission.
But you've had automatic transmissions for forever.
Okay, so if you have automatic transmissions, then you can have driver assist aids. Like this guy was just telling me about some kind of sensor to read a. Remember the Mint 400? There was a nasty place they called the Monument. That guy, Steve Centurione, was killed there, and all the ES.
I would like to know how the vehicle is going to read a course if you have to alter that course.
This guy's saying in real time, you have a real-time sensor, you have microwave sensors, you have LiDAR. You know what LiDAR is, laser-based.
I understand that, but how do you have something when you're like, if you come up here and you want to make a course correction, in other words, I don't want to go this line, I want to go that line.
Yeah.
Okay. How is that going to translate to now you're off course? And if it does it without your knowledge, you need to do it without your knowledge. Or the horse that runs in front of you at the last second, and then stops.
More of an Instagram. My personal Instagram.
And hurts the person.
Well, it's like contingency. If you fly our sticker and you use our product and you place well and win, we're going to reward you with money. That's the whole idea.
The whole idea out here is to win.
But no, the whole contingency is that if you use our product, we'll reward you monetarily. I mean, that's all I'm saying.
Win, lose, or draw.
I mean, if you win, you get more money. If you maybe podium, you get a little bit.
And what happens when the product that you causes me to get hurt or destroy my car? Are they going to pay for it?
Well, that has the guy who designed this program, and probably with some legal help, is going to have to figure that out. But I mean, look.
You come up with 100 different ways. I'm not saying it's not a good thing, but they did that before. They did it with the manufacturers back in the 70s and 80s. The manufacturers pulled out. They did what they needed to do for all the Vortec motors and all that stuff, and Ford and.
Well, the Vortec General Motors, Bob Bauer, I talked to him. He's saying it was just General's got what they wanted, they pulled out. That's okay.
Same thing with Ford. Same thing with Chevy. They all pulled out, and one of the reasons they all pulled out and they sponsored everybody separately is liability, because as soon as you sponsor somebody, and let's say that driver kills that kid that decided to be on the course when he shouldn't, because his parents didn't do it, guess what happens? They go after the sponsors of that guy, and the sponsors then are the one that are going to take the ticket, and that was the reason that everybody left in the 70s and 80s when somebody got killed.
The ESPN photographer that got killed in the late 90s, or it was 1990.
Late 90s, mid to late 90s.
Okay,
late 90s.
Ivan Stewart and
Walker
were dicing it out, and then
I know what they were doing. I was there.
Okay. So then Jim Ober's Toyota got hit, and he sued. I mean, talk about stupid.
Well, that's my problem. you throw in things with what you want to do, and you throw in a half a dozen lawyers that do other stuff. And the half a dozen lawyers make people that are sponsorships liable.
By the way,
That's why those companies or those sponsorships want to sponsor the promoter, not the individual.
front or back?
Okay, yeah. On one of them, this
Right.
one went into the.
Right.
This one was weird. It was my buddy didn't get something to work. So this was kind of something.
Here comes the one car.
Front or back?
Give me a second. Back. Wilson.
Is it ours?
Wilson.
I don't know, Wilson. This was actually like a high pinion one that we did for like a 70s Bronco.
Which high pinion? We're talking about the pre-runner?
No,
Or
high
forward door?
pinion rear axle.
What
Rear differential for a 70s Bronco.
So what's the manufacturer of the axle?
It was a Curry housing, but we did all the trussing and like leaf perches and mounts.
Was
and
it
all that.
original Ford 9-inch that was flipped upside down?
It was a full custom
Okay,
Like-
full custom.
boxed housing, yeah.
Guess what? I bought a Jeep Grand Cherokee, had a Curry built Ford 9-inch, flipped upside down, high pinion. I'm working on it right now.
For that one or for a different?
Different. I got 3 Jeep Grand Cherokees. Your dad was saying you got I got 3 Jeep Grand Cherokees. It's ZJs. You know, ZJs is 93 through.
My buddy had a couple of those. One of them he cut it all apart and it was basically like a tube chassis,
Uh huh.
and then he just had the skin over it.
So then, was it a ZJ or WJ? WJ is 99 through 2004.
No, it was the
ZJ.
early 90s.
ZJ.
Yeah.
A ZJ. Or was it an XJ? Is it a Grand Cherokee?
Yeah, Grand Cherokee.
Grand Cherokee.
The car behind or?
Behind.
I got these blisters. He went by us and then he did a loop and like went through the crowd and then just came and pulled up in front of us and we were like, what's this guy doing?
Who was that guy?
Justin Davis.
So how did he do? He was a class 1. I talked to him yesterday.
I think he was what was that 4th or 5th one?
That's him. Wasn't that him?
Yeah.
Green Army.
Third. He's third.
Oh, 3rd.
Your dad and I are having a real vigorous conversation here. Did you catch some of it?
A little bit, yeah. side-by-sides even come through a dark, huh?
They were actually in front of the Class 12s.
No way.
Yeah, they were the fifth fastest class.
When I was a mile marker 20, the UTVs, god damn, it was like they're right among the 10s.
Yeah.
The one fast guy was right in the middle of the 10s.
It was a Matlock.
Trophy trucks?
Oh, Matlock, yeah, they're
Max?
quick.
And then Mark was third.
Third? Nice. Tristan? Yeah. We actually did one of the chase trucks. The chase wrap.
So probably 2 or 3 more trophy truck specs, and then a few razors, and then a few class 12s, and then really only
Sounds like
2
that's
10s.
There was like 7 tents going by there, and then 2
And
12.
that's it. How many trophy truck specs were signed up for the
I
race?
think it was 35. Something.
35 of them too?
There's a lot of them. Because I was on contingency yesterday. I lost count. There were so many.
I went to contingency, got a Pistol Pete shirt, and left. It was too much mayhem.
You wouldn't believe, I had this camera running almost continuously on contingency. I ran through a full battery, like 6 hours, battery 6 hours. The fans, you point a camera to the Mexican fans, they start waving, they start yelling, they start acting up, they start dancing. I got it all. I mean, I covered. And one guy gave me a $20 bill. He was so impressed by my effort. So then I got his contact info. So I'm gonna post it all up.
$20 put me on some sort of media.
Make me famous.
This is on iTunes. This is going to iTunes. If some of this you don't want, just tell me and I'll just cut it out.
It's fine.
So, by the
Set
way,
the input, nothing was. What is it? What is that? They say nothing was sponsored by Vildosola Racing.
Oh, yeah.
It's not official.
Yeah, nothing official.
I guess the conversation we're having with his dad, it summarizes in there's really not a lot of R&D in off-road racing, just because it's a money pit. It's not a. At the end of the day, it's a hobby. It's an expensive hobby.
There you go.
You can't compare it to Formula One.
you know, the budget for a Formula One team is like $1 billion. That's even more than a small NASA mission to Mars. Like a small NASA mission to Mars was $500 million.
Have you seen their Netflix series thing? It's really badass. You should recommend it. The Formula One just came out with the Netflix.
Oh, I've seen a couple episodes of that.
We've been to the race in Mexico City, the one in Austin, and then.
You mean the Cup, COTA Cup of the Circuit of the Americas?
Yeah, COTA, Circuit of the Americas.
So the IndyCar just had a race there. Is that the one you went to?
No, we went to Formula One races.
Okay. So, okay.
Yeah, it's a whole different story.
In a couple years,
It's just
probably.
It's crazy.
I'm involved with IndyCar, and I'm also very interested in Formula One. I'm also interested in endurance, 20-hour Daytona, 24-hour Le Mans. What is off-road racing? It's like endurance. It's like survival.
It's a different type of endurance.
Steph,
Yeah.
it feels like, being down here, like,
What about go-karting?
just hearing about it, even though
Yeah, you know, all the people like IndyCar, they came up, karting,
They come to Mexico.
and then they started,
it'd be a moneymaker.
in United States, they started doing what they call a circle track, the dirt cars.
Exactly.
Mario Andretti and AJ Foyt, they came up with all that. And then Robbie Gordon, like he came up in off-road racing.
SST, what is it? Super
Yeah,
Stadium
stadium
trucks?
super trucks.
But I mean, Robbie Gordon started in off-road racing. Then he got, Mike Cranafis of Ford. Remember Mike Cranafis? He had a Ford SVO, Special Vehicle Operations, as racing, including Formula One. So Mike Cranafis was the guy that was pulling Robbie into sports car and also then IndyCar. Remember AJ Foyt Racing 1993? That was Robbie Gordon's first. I've got the video here right now. I can just show it to you. 1993, ABC News.
Pre-runner.
That's when I was born.
Pre-runner, Class 12. It's a Class 12 pre-runner. On the left side. For parts, if you were to do a Pareto diagram, I guess it'd be just the regular
Front or back?
like rebuild of the shop.
Testing the steering.
Steering someplace down here.
Ya viene, ya viene. Pues aquí creo que es como una hora y media, yo creo, ¿no?
Simón.
Más o menos.
Ah, pues bájense si va. Una helada de una vez.
Ya sé, ¿no?
Ahorita cuál helada, no.
Bueno,
ahorita nada más vean, no sé.
Ya sé. Ya está el ratito.
Van a salir en la televisión, mira.
Ok, saludos. Equipo Rayos Robots. Sigue Chase.
¿Cómo vienen? ¿Viene que venía segundo o
entre
tercero?
los primeros tres.
¿Sí va?
Sí.
También que lo miramos en la 135 antes de subir la carretera por allá.
Ajá.
No que ven terceros o más.
Sí, ahí
Segundo,
van entre los primeros tres.
No, toda madre.
Ok,
Aquí está bueno, güey.
sale. Déjame pongo aquí arriba, perdida para. Ándale, que para no quedar aquí muy atascado. ¿Sí te tocó venir aquí o no?
Una vez sí vine aquí.
¿Está chido?
He entrado aquí y he entrado al otro, el del que está en el 151.
Is this HPD Honda Performance Development V6?
Yes. It's a Honda.
HPD put a V6 motor for the Honda Ridgeline 2018 Baja 1000 for Alexander Rossi. Alexander Rossi, IndyCar racer who won the Indy 500, I think it was 2016. So do you have a program with HPD Honda Performance Development?
Well, not really, but you know, this particular one has a motor, Honda motor on it.
So then is HPD involved or it's just you,
No.
your own?
By your own.
Uh-huh. You might want to look up HPD Honda Performance Development in Santa Clarita, California. They're like the bridge between Honda Japan and IndyCar in Indianapolis. Okay. And they're, you know, it's a V6 turbo for IndyCar, and then they threw it in an off-road race car, 2018 Baja 1000, the Honda Ridgeline.
Okay.
Alexander Rossi, IndyCar driver.
Okay.
So I'm involved with IndyCar.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
Guess what? There's a third engine manufacturer coming into IndyCar. There's Chevrolet and Honda. Those are the two.
The major ones.
Right, and then all of a sudden it's a German. So it's either Porsche, Audi, VW or Mercedes.
Okay.
That's a pretty reliable. Someone pretty sure about that. It's not a rumor. It's something's gonna happen.
Right.
Porsche at one time was involved with IndyCar. Just I don't know, just one team or something, and they got out. Lotus came in many years ago, several years ago. They got behind and they left.
Okay.
So then I was just wondering, this is a pre-runner or is
A
this?
pre-runner. This is a pre-runner, yeah.
Okay.
Pre-runner. Right now we're chasing the class. It's a class 12 car. 1237 is the car number. So.
I see. Are you from the United States or Mexico?
Oh, from Mexico.
English is good.
Oh, thank you.
Do you have a business card?
Not with me right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you mine.
Okay, sure.
So I'm interested in off-road racing and IndyCar.
Okay. Thank you very much.
My email on the card is wrong, so if you want to email me, go to my website and email me from the website.
Okay, from the website. Sounds good.
So your name is?
My name is Ramon Ceja. Ceja.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much for your business card. So
yeah,
we will be visiting your website.
So where
shortly.
in Mexico? You're from Mexicali?
Yeah, from Mexicali. We're a Mexicali team right now.
Are you friends with the Vildosola?
Oh yes, everybody. I will say from Mexicali. Yeah. Right now we're doing a team with robots racing, and we are part of Rayos Motorsports.
Robots. Is that robots, like robotic, as in robots or?
Robots, yeah. So right now we're racing on robots cars.
So are you working with any do you have a relationship with Honda doing development or just your own?
No. We're just get all the the transmission and the motor and just.
What transmission are you using?
We're using Mendiola right now.
Have you tried other manufacturers like X-Track, Albin's?
We used to have Dave Folt's transmissions a while ago when we were in 16, class 16. And right now, we got this sequential one in this pre-runner.
So what is your goal? Do you have any goals or just want to have a nice pre-runner or do you want to
Yeah, this is, it needs to be a reliable car just, to pre-run. The race cars, it's should be similar to your pre-runner because of the speeds that you're developing during a race. And, at some point this is a comfortable car, reliable, of course. So that's the way it is. I would say that this is, a superior class than the race car, but right now we're running with pump fuel. We don't use race fuel on this particular one, so it becomes cheaper, to pre-run. And you can, get gas on any gas station, so no major issues in.
So how much did you build everything, the chassis and everything?
Well, this chassis was built in Mexicali. We didn't build it. We just
how much do you think altogether? How much money you have in it?
About 50K.
50,000.
Yeah.
Well, what is the most of the cost?
Most of the cost, it's between the motor and the transmission. Yeah, go ahead.
Front or back?
As soon as I get to the point where that's a modified Pro Truck. Is it? But that's my point. As soon as I get to the point where I'm tired of I'm tired of fucking going in. I hate chasing. This is you want it or you don't want it. I'll build it, and when they build it and they go along with the payment, because a lot of times when I do this, I say, here's your payment plan. Do it this way. They get off track and I end up trying to, or they don't. It doesn't work the way they want, or their kid has my leg broke. It's a still a hobby. In the end, it's a hobby. It doesn't mean and that's the part I'm tired of.
I was just telling you, the way I'm telling you about, it's a professionally run race series with professional development contracts with serious vendors.
Well, when you can get 500 to sponsor 500 guys out there, then it may work.
Look, why does NASCAR work and off-road racing is still a hobby?
Only 40 guys in NASCAR.
Okay, NASCAR's got a business model, billboard on 4 wheels. They got
I
legit.
understand that, but here's the thing. If he wants to race, he has to be part of their business model, which means that he has to go abide by all the rules of NASCAR, just like NFL.
It's a club. It's a club type
Yeah.
of racing.
Exactly. He has to abide by all the rules. And out here, I can be a stupid guy
A lot of money.
who's never seen the dirt, wants to go race a trophy truck, and I got all the money in the world to do it.
The guy that just came by Illinois.
Valley Leasing.
Yeah, I was like, this guy is just some guy from Illinois. And boom, he's in.
He's
He
in-
does
in
IndyCar.
NASCAR, you can't do
Yeah,
that.
Indy 500. You need to get a license. You need to do a lap.
You need to do it. Same thing in NASCAR. Same thing
Formula
in
One.
any Formula One. Even those
Rally racing.
rowdy races that you see on TV in the dirt where they're racing, you have to have a license to race.
Hey.
Out here,
You can rent a truck and it's
out here, I can go buy, I can
the
go
wide
rent a
open
trophy truck and go race it.
That's the appeal of off-road racing. It's sort of like the wild, wild west. It's like it's the whole.
Got it. So, and the bottom line is in order to go do it, you have to you have your sponsors have to pay into the program. So if you got 500 guys that want to race in a race, that's a lot of money that sponsors are going to have to come up with to do those. Plain and simple.
Look, I gotta tell you, like, there are too many race cars. I mean, back in the '90s when racing Barstow, Robbie Gordon was racing Class 8, and there was a big accident between him and then Frank Vessel's weighed in. That there are too many cars on the course. In other words, the 2011 IndyCar Las Vegas 300, where Dan Wheldon was tragically killed.
You're going through everything that I already know, and all you can sit there and say is if you only have 40 guys running,
Let's talk
the
about.
other 250 guys are going to go to another venue and race those 200, and that guy's going to make the money.
Let's talk about the cultural waste thing, because I'm not saying like, yes, people who like off-road, they're not high maintenance. There's a lot of people that are high maintenance and do off-road, but there's also a lot of people that, for example, if you look at the Formula One people, there are high maintenance people that would never want to come to the dirt. Coming to the dirt takes a special.
Guess who showed up the Mint 400? Jensen Button, formerly McLaren Formula One.
Yes.
Guess what?
And he got nerfed really hard by Rob
that's
McCachran and a guy half his age.
But I'm saying just people like you won't see the same type of people that go to a Formula One race in Monza. What is it? What is it?
Monte Carlo was same weekend Indy 500.
Versus here, right? It's
Yeah.
it takes a
Two
special
different
skills
groups of
to.
people. Yeah.
I guess the market's totally different too. Like you're not.
It's a different culture that was created. I can tell you right now, it's a different culture.
It's American
that was
culture.
created in Southern California. Period.
I'm gonna tell you, there was this one sticker that says if racing were outlawed, outlaws would race. This is sort of the outlaw mentality of off-road racing.
It is.
Yeah, because you can do it whenever you want.
I
There's
feel
no
like
rules.
there's people that like off-road racing like to go off-roading and off-road and like go to the desert and stuff. But like fans of Indy and NASCAR, like they're just fans. They don't
They'd rather
do any of that. You know, they just go and watch.
Guess what?
They go out-
I went to the 2013 Indy 500. Have you heard of the Turn 3 Snake Pit fans?
Uh-huh.
They would put off-road racing fans to shame. There was all sorts of crazy stuff going on back in this.
Is the front side?
Trophy spec?
I think so.
All right.
Full body. Is that what it is? Yeah. Sorry, I forgot the one. Yeah.
park. He was going. He has the radio in there. Sit there listening to the radio while they're racing.
It's nice.
Oh yeah. The Lumicraft trucks are pitching. I guess all Lumicraft's working is very nice. Yeah. The Tisco's stuff is
Mile
nice too.
310 by now. They're at 310. So that means they just crossed the highway.
About 40 more minutes, 30 minutes?
Nah, 30. We're at
PC's
328.
see, I don't know. They had an oil issue, so I don't know.
Pero ¿cuánto has llegado del 2 de su clase?
Clase 1, no?
Yeah. It's been 3
Two
gone
or-
by and then
That's
another
one or
3
two?
gone by.
What?
The one you guys are running?
No,
No,
Wilson.
There's
The
3.
Wilson too.
Yeah.
Then
And
RPI
then
was
Davis.
broken down.
Wilson and then Davis and then the first one RPI.
RPI was, well,
3.
Yes.
it's practically broken down.
Yes.
Okay. I went to the 2013 Indy 500. A lot of the spectators in turn 3 I met, they're racers. They race, you know, in the Midwest, these circle track races. So these guys, not only fans, but they race too, and they were real knowledgeable. Just like a lot of these guys, like this guy that just pulled in, he knows about racing.
Yeah.
Okay, so then there's sort of have you ever been to the Indy 500? They call Indianapolis, they call it the Raceway. They call it the Speedway. They don't call it Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They call it the Speedway.
Here's a question. Here's a good question. Okay. If I want to go to one of their parties, what's it going to cost me?
You can't?
What party? What kind of party?
I want to walk in and I'm going to see a half a dozen of those of the IndyCar racers
Yeah,
at
there
one
you
of their
go.
parties. What is it going to cost me to get into that party?
How much does it cost you to get into an Indy race?
Yeah, how does it cost to get into
For a
an Indy
spectator.
race as a spectator?
Nobody out here is paying.
I got one of those scalp tickets for like $50. $50.
Okay.
And
you didn't answer the question. If I wanted to go to a party
And record this close.
and stand all these guys are all the IndyCar drivers talking with their wives on their arm, wearing whatever their tuxedos. Go to one of those parties. What is that going to
Okay,
cost?
you get a bronze badge, you get pit access, and you're right
What
amongst
does it cost me?
bronze badge, $250. You get 1 week of access.
Hey, I can go have breakfast with the same group of guys, and it ain't gonna cost me a dime.
I want to tell you, quit
I can go
Quit-
stay in the hotel.
quick doing the freebie thing. I mean, as I tell you, you want.
That's
Two-
why those sports
That's-
have such a good sponsorship, is because the fans have to pay to watch.
Exactly.
That's also what goes into.
Yeah, because you can't control spectators here. Like, you're not going to charge for the whole desert.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, they
Like,
do,
think
but-
about how much revenue they make on all the fans going to
And
that
then how much
event.
money from the sponsorships, from the fans go to what is it?
To the back.
Vehicle? Yeah. It's a vehicle.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Go to the promoter.
No?
No, it's on the main road.
No, somebody's coming.
I said there's some guys up here in fire suits.
I can hear the engine on the right side. Are they making a pit somewhere? Or are they coming through the main access road?
No. Nah, that's on the highway.
Maybe it's just somebody driving.
But my point is, it doesn't cost me anything to do this as a spectator. As you go to those places, it's going to cost you. To me, to go watch an Indy race and go participate in all the stuff would cost me $500 to $1,000.
No.
Easily.
No, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, I would, because if I have to fly
Drive,
back
yeah.
there, first off, to fly back to that Indy race, because there's no tracks out here, to fly back to that Indy race is going to cost me $500 to $600 round trip. I got to get a hotel over there.
I saw guys in fire suits.
Do you guys like horse racing? Or no?
I like gambling on horse racing.
Do you guys go to Del Mar or
No,
Santa Ana?
I've never been to Del
Okay,
Mar.
guess who goes to Kentucky Derby? AJ Foyt. AJ Foyt, horsepower. He's also he got interested in.
I think it might have just been that Dodge turning around.
Guess they got stuck.
And the other side of the house is any of those drivers who are mostly European.
They're Brazilian.
Or Brazilian, whatever. They're so rich, they do not want to hang out with guys like us.
Felipe Massa, one of us.
Wait a minute. I would tell you, you've got a bias showing. I got to tell you.
I probably do have it, but I'm sitting there saying it's based on money. It's like I can't go and hang out with those guys.
Wait, I got to tell you. Indy cars got the same problem with off-road. The catastrophic kart IRL split in the mid-90s. The kart IRL split. It split the fans, it split the sponsors, it split the racers. So basically, TV ratings suck. IndyCar can't get sponsors. It's just like it totally fell apart, and it's now in the same position like off-road.
Oh, here's your answer. Here's your answer. Here's a good one right here. You're gonna like this one. Okay.
Here comes something.
They can't. Okay, wait till this car goes. You'll like this shit.
Front or back?
Back.
Yeah, back.
Back. Winston.
No, it's enough for now.
Wilson. 105.
Okay.
Here you go.
Okay.
If there's no sponsors for Indy racing, what happens? If they had no sponsor, who's paying for the bill? Who's paying for that guy to go race that $4 million car?
His dad.
No.
They call ride buyers.
No. If you had no sponsors whatsoever, period, zero, zip, in Indy racing, would it still be there?
It's getting guess what? ABC News, ABC Sports, who puts on the Indy 500, they got out. They got sick and tired of IndyCar.
You're not answering the question. I'm asking a simple question. If you had zero sponsorship from anybody in Formula One, NASCAR, any of that, would those guys still be racing?
Okay, what happened is they have these ride buyers, wealthy families with their kids.
You didn't answer that.
I'm telling you,
I'm asking you, would it still be there?
Of course not.
Okay, off-road racing is and has been and will always be there without sponsors.
But look, I'm going to tell you, it doesn't have the professional feel of a NASCAR or IndyCar or Formula One.
No, it has a family feel.
I guess, yes, it does. But I kind of disagree with you. I mean, not I don't disagree, but don't agree when, because you said something about the family wealth. If you were to compare to the incomes or the average income of the Formula One driver versus a trophy truck one, who do you think has more money?
Or the IndyCar drivers are getting paid to race
I don't
Indy.
think the IndyCar people have a lot of money as compared to the Formula One drivers.
Yeah.
Because in order to be a Formula One driver, why do you think they're Formula One drivers? Because they come with sponsorships. They comes back.
Look at Pastor Maldonado. He's from Venezuela. He's Venezuelan money. He sucks.
He's a wealthy.
He sucks.
But
He's wealthy.
for example, people disagree with Checo Perez. I like him because he's Mexican, right? But he said, oh, he's not one of the best drivers. How come he has a seat? Because he's sponsored by Slim. Carlos Slim, the wealthiest person in Mexico, probably number 3 in the world. So I mean,
They put money on the business.
it's I don't know. It's just it's a taste and finance.
Pero al
At
final,
the end of the day, money.
Pero al final de
You're
cuentas
right.
es pasión.
It's the end of the day is money. But here's the thing. If there's no sponsorship,
But this is passion.
this
Yes.
is passion,
Yeah,
and
right.
this is guys with
And they're
millions
not
of
winning
dollars.
anything.
Anybody
willing
with
to do
money
it.
or not money, everybody stay here, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
This is passion.
That's true because if let's say people who have money and don't have money, or as much money, can be part of this. But people who have money and do not have money, we can't be part of Formula One at the end of the day, right?
You would never, or NASCAR.
Or NASCAR.
Or any other.
Okay, you can
But there's
do a
all
part,
levels.
just see the TV. No more. No, nothing more. Yeah, you just see the TV and no more.
Front or back?
Front.
He's kind of slow.
It's hard to tell.
That's through
6100 car
Is it?
button. Sounds like it has a.
There was a guy that came through here on like a hunting quad earlier.
He's limping.
Some guy in Bar 1000 racing with his dog. You remember that guy with the dog?
It's a 6100 car going really slow.
Hannah? Is it Hannah?
No, it looks like a Cops. Cops is 6100. Oh yeah.
That's true. That's pretty good. That's as fast as you can go.
And you know the sad part is we still haven't even gotten to the small classes yet.
That's what I'm
I haven't even seen them yet. No,
They're gonna have a
16.
rough night.
Like in our team, when they started with the class Safari, and then they went to 9, and then 11, and then 16, then 7, then 10, then 7 Open, and then Trophy Lights. And then now we got the opportunity to help out at Class 1. So the first race when we helped out at Class 1 and we finished right away, it's like, guys, this is incredible. Just the time difference on, you're already at the finish line, and then Class 11, they're not even halfway. They're like
Yeah.
1/4 of the race.
Yeah,
I think
when
Class
I went
11
from
would be sick to
racing a
race.
7100 truck to a trophy truck and or even the pro truck, even as slow as those things were, I'm like going, it beats being in those other classes, because you're just out there. You're going to be out there all day long. You get to sleep in the morning.
True.
Cuéntale cuando corrieron las 500 Ts que nunca habían manejado el
Dude,
Class
the
11.
2 500s ago, my uncle let us borrow his Class 11.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like the first time I've driven stick shift here and there, but it was our first time testing out the car. We didn't try it out, anything. It's my one of the owners of the cars, and then I did the middle part, and then my brother did the finish line. It took me like 3 hours and a half to do 70 miles, because I got it in Saldaña and went up all the way to Mike's Ranch. But it's like you went up the stairs that little, and it was our first race, and then I didn't know how to drive stick shift. So
I had the guy that I was teaching how to race the 1600. He would get pissed off at me because I was shifting I'd get pissed off at him. First off, because he's like, I can't shift the car. Can't shift not going in gear.
You have to find the sweet spot, man.
Dude. And I would sit there and go, calm down. Take your hand off the shifter. Push the clutch in. And I was shifting it with my left hand for him. And he'd get pissed off. He'd go, God damn it, I hate you.
So I got in the car, and then less than a mile, I fell into a ditch, a big old ditch in Saldaña. So the car, it was a perfect sized ditch. I fell in, and then the car got warped on the front end and back end. So the guy pulled me out, because our chase truck, obviously he like kind of saw me when I disappeared. Pulled me out. I was like, okay, I'm good to go, dude. I went not even like 200 feet, got stuck again.
Here's the one car.
Nice.
I feel like Class 11 would be cool because it's just like, you know, it's challenging, but you're not going super fast, you know?
They may take forever, but you know what? They're the true
Being back
off-road
pretty
racers.
soon after, maybe there.
That's a lie, dude.
All right.
They got someone behind them?
Yeah.
You never know?
And he's hauling ass.
Class 1 or Class 2?
That's what. Lost, so if you'll take those.
Hey, he's about 30 seconds behind him, I'd say.
What?
30 seconds behind him.
Car 129, you have a car 30 seconds behind you.
¿Cómo vienen? No les patean.
Repeat. Tavo to 129, you have a car 30 seconds behind you.
¿Quién viene manejando?
Oh,
¿Él no arrancó?
All right.
Que iba a terminar él.
Beer time.
beer 30.
Beer 30.
¿Este es era el de ellos?
Where do you guys stay at when you come down?
For the code races, we rent a house in El Dorado, but for the sport ones, there's a hotel before you reach the marina. It's a green, tall hotel. Like we rent out the whole hotel. It's like 18 rooms. We rent the whole thing. It's called Hotel Los Angeles, LA.
That's great.
What about yourself?
We're at El Dorado.
And the prices, incredible, really spiking 4 to 5 times the regular price.
We've stayed all over the place coming down here, but lately it's always been like El Dorado or what was that one hotel where I left the house to take Dynamite?
Oh, it's right up from it's right next to the police station.
Riviera?
No, the one
Cortez?
across from the Riviera. It's like right across the street.
It's like a trailer park, kind of?
It
looks like a trailer park,
right
but
there.
it's like a hotel.
It is a hotel.
Looks
I
like-
can't remember the name of
Yeah, I
it.
know what you're talking about.
Is it here in San Felipe?
Yep. Right across Riviera. Right, if you're going through the main street, you see the dune, and then make a right on prior to the dune. And then you'll see it on your right side.
Across the street from the police station?
Next to the police station. Across the street from the police station is El Riviera.
You heard of Victor's RV?
Yes.
Guess who I rescued on Thursday?
Who?
Chad Bunch, a longtime friend of Pete Soren, the Soren family. So I towed him back to Victor's RV from just north of here on Highway 5. He was a broken down pre-runner.
Good.
And who was in Victor's RV park was Pete Soren's wife, Cammie. So I'm down here for Pete Soren. What had happened is just almost like something out of the Twilight Zone.
Why?
I came here to,
In memory of him?
yeah, and then who did I rescue? And I met Pete Soren's son, 3 daughters.
Oh, here. Oscar 10? To the back now? You guys go back to the El Dorado?
Pero el carro que traían ese es el micrófono.
No, porque corre el hijo de los que corren el trophy, corre con él. Yo creo que
No, el papá de Vildosola corre con el papá con Doña Maxi.
You gonna stay till it gets dark?
Yeah, I think eventually I'll head back. I suppose there's going to be some partying tonight. I mean, I want to enjoy that. I woke up at 6 a.m. to get sunrise shots near Puertecitos. I was at mile marker 20. So I've been up for 12 hours working.
When you come down, you come in here solo, or just this is the first?
Solo. My first San Felipe was 1989.
And you've been coming every year?
George Seeley, you know George Seeley, the multi-class 5 champion, scored points champion. He took me first San Felipe. I'll never forget it. It was just amazing. It's like you don't see any of the development back. This was 30 years ago, 1989. There's none of this absurd development. It's really laid back in the real Baja.
I'm sure it's been incredible for you to see the progression of the cars and the people, the atmosphere, and everything.
I want to tell you, I'm just beginning to understand the cars. I've been doing this media thing like a hobby. Like this guy I was kind of going back and forth with. I hate to say it.
I mean, it's just difference of opinions. I mean, you have to. I mean, don't record this, man. You have to understand that probably at the end of the day, you come from a different world, especially being a doctor and an electrical engineer. You somehow have a little bit of more of ability and capacity to understand and go to multiple events. As in for them, this might be their highlight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I gotta tell you, you probably have the same problem. If you want to go to you're a consultant, you want to start a new idea, a new thing with a existing company, we're fixing their ways. Man, that is hard because there's a saying in business, they have a business model. So why are they gonna mess with it? I mean, even as new, exciting.
They say if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, right. Mechanics, auto mechanics. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Look at the electric car. All the major auto manufacturers have a business model with gas and even hybrids. Tesla Motors shows up and completely lit the fire under all of them. That's why Chevrolet, Bob Lutz was friends with Martin Eberhard, the CEO of Tesla Motors, and that's why Chevrolet did the Chevrolet Volt, because how the heck did a small startup in Silicon Valley did the Tesla Roadster? So they felt embarrassed. No.
And that proves 2 points, as in one. Obviously, Tesla did set the bench, and it disrupt. That's the correct word.
Disrupt.
It disrupt the actual industry, and then 2 is like, how if it took X amount of years for Tesla to build a full electric car, why did it take so minimum time for the big auto industries? One, they already had electric cars a long time ago.
General Motors had that EV1, I believe.
They had it a long time ago, but they never pushed it because it goes back to the money, right? How much money were they going to lose? And they're also breaking that culture change of like, oh yeah, it doesn't run the same. Electrical cars are for nerds, or it's not environmental friendly. I mean, Tesla's just breaking. They're pioneers.
Did you
in
see
the
that
industry.
documentary, Who Killed the Electric Car? It documented why the GM EV1 was. They recalled them. They were all leased, and they recalled them and crushed them. It was because.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, no, it was not Netflix. Maybe find on Netflix, but guess what? The fucking oil lobby comes in with their money and influence. This United States is a corporate oligarchy. The politicians and all the strategies and the policies, it's controlled by corporations. Yeah. I went to freaking China in 2008. There are all these electric scooters, electric bikes floating around. Why? And I came back to the United States. Why don't I see it? Because all that electric innovation, scooters and bicycles, is being suppressed.
Your family, what part of China are they from?
My dad's from Suzhou, which is supposedly a real cultural capital near Shanghai. My dad came from a real wealthy family, lost everything during World War II. Japanese came in and completely fucking, just fucked the living daylights out of China. They made atrocities look like nothing, and then my dad had to escape for his life. My dad has a mechanical engineering PhD, by the way.
Yeah, you told me that earlier.
Yeah. So then, the Sputnik crisis in 1958?
I've heard of it, but I don't.
It was like the United States got complacent, got beat into outer space by Russia.
Oh, okay.
Okay. After that, my dad and all these other mechanical engineers, they all of a sudden had jobs, had opportunities because
they weren't trying to rush space. Yeah.
There was the Cold War, nuclear weapons. Now Russia had a delivery from space. The United States felt like, oh my God, it's like we could be attacked. So then the United States recovered. John F. Kennedy says, put a man on the moon before the decade is out. Guess what? It happened. I still can't believe it. That shows the resources and the talent that this country's got, the United States has got, but look at this current leadership we have. Donald Trump is completely destroying any STEM initiatives, destroy the EPA, environmental
You're taking steps backwards, going.
The United States is going like China. China was the most advanced civilization by the 1200s. I saw this on the History Channel. Then China got arrogant, shut its doors, and the world passed them by. Okay? It's like all empires fall. Guess what? The United States is a falling empire. It was like, guess what? The former Vicente Fox, the president of Mexico, he was pissed off. He was using the F word over Twitter against Trump, and Trump deserves those F words.
Actually, Trump was in Calexico, where we're from, yesterday.
Really?
He was just exposing the whole.
And guess what happened? There was a Trump baby balloon deployed. You saw that?
Yeah.
I was in contingency yesterday, and I was talking to a Mexican woman, and she got all excited, pulled out her cell phone. What happened to Trump visited England? It was greeted with Trump baby balloons everywhere. The United States is led by a child.
Tantrums, yeah. And the Brexit, also the British exit too.
You know?
That's affecting.
In 2 words, failed leadership. Well, what happened to the Sputnik crisis? Failed leadership. The leadership didn't invest in STEM, in education. So H.G. Wells, the science fiction author, futurist, said, civilization is a race between education and disaster. Now look at you. You got a hell of an education. I mean, you're...
No, it's just a pre-runner.
Aproveche su el perro y sillas y todo.
¿Quiere hablar con...?
No, pues como que va a salir en la televisión, quieres seguir en la plática. Ahorita les va a dar la página de internet y les diga para que sigan la entrevista y la entrevista. ¿Y qué tiene? Yo digo por ti, que quieres salir en la televisión. ¿Cómo crees? Ya, porque ya no funciona la jefa, ya eso es más trágico que nada. ¿Cuántas que?
Queda una más. Queda
otra. Déjala ahí.
But like you were saying about my education, it's honestly thanks to my parents. They were able to help me out through Cal Poly, and then not only did I get my bachelor's degree in industrial engineering, but I'm also a Lean Six Sigma black belt certified.
So then your parents, came from Mexico, right?
Yes.
So you're first generation.
Yes, in the U.S., yes.
In other words, they recognize the value of coming to America, and they will make sure their investment in you.
Correct. And then my mother has a master's, and then my dad, he didn't graduate from high school, but I mean, he's a successful business person.
But your mom is master's in what?
In Spanish literature.
That's pretty intellectual.
Yeah, she's a current kindergarten teacher down in Calexico, and a few classes in Imperial Valley College. She'll teach as a professor. And my dad, I mean, he's a good business person. He didn't graduate from high school, and he has a multi-million trucking company. So.
Damn.
It's crazy how you gotta make the right decisions.
Like I told you, what gets cut? All the corporate oligarchy, all the education gets cut. High school teachers in America, they can't even make ends meet. They got to get 2, 3, 4 jobs. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So this country is in big trouble. It's going to bottom out. Once it bottoms out, then there's only one way to go back up. But it's gonna basically take a real huge. This is gonna be a disaster when we bottom out.
Yeah. Well, right now, just like you say, all the especially here in California, the housing industry, everything's so expensive. Like I said, the bubble's about to burst soon, right?
Look at fucking San Francisco. You make $150,000 a year,
Nothing.
and you can't even get a decent house. You live in a fucking. You have to share apartment with 5 other people or something.
Yeah. When I was working at Louis Vuitton as a engineer there, some of my friends transferred over. They worked at Apple for a few years. They didn't like. I mean, they liked the culture and stuff, but just it wasn't. They didn't see themselves there for a few years, so they transferred over at Nike.
Nike?
Yeah. So we were at Louis Vuitton together, and then they transferred to Apple, and then Nike, yes. And then I transferred from Louis Vuitton to a private bottling facility in Mariloma. They bottle, excuse me.
You say Louis Vuitton? What's the name of that company again?
Louis Vuitton Manufacturing.
Yeah.
So the big purses and.
I mean, Christian Louboutin?
No, not Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton Manufacturing.
Okay.
Like all the LV bags.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And then I transferred over to a private bottling facility where they bottle all their distilled spirits for Costco, Kirkland brand, and a few private, like the Kroger and all that stuff for Food for Less. I was there the continuous improvement engineer for 2-3 years, and then I transferred over now to Ingram Micro. It's a multi-billion company all over the world. To the back.
So how old are you?
I'm 28, gonna turn 29 September 4.
Wow. So what are your aspirations? You want to become a CEO of a startup? You've been in the industry, you kind of know how the business works. You're gonna start your own company?
Within the next year, definitely be part of a senior management, and then within the next 2 or 3 years, be director of a company or specifically my own company. But yes, be able to manage.
So you see all these Silicon Valley startups. Now they're branching into like SpaceX is privatization of space. That's completely different from Silicon Valley type of atypical startups, and Tesla Motors. That's automotive. That's completely different. Now you got the connected cars talking to each other, cars talking to the cloud. Cars use the internet as the cloud.
For example, different where I'm working at Ingram Micro, it's we're a distributor. So we distribute a lot of the parts for a lot of products from startup companies. One of the new customers we just acquired is Al. I'm not sure if you've seen the videos of Al. It's like a camera you install on your phone when someone wants to break it in. It pretty much sends you live feed. It'll call the cops. Similar like to the Ring, but a car.
Yeah.
It's crazy if you come up with the idea and you do a patent and then sell it online, especially now with all the different websites like StartKick or where you like
Kickstart,
Kickstart and all that stuff to acquire funds if you don't have the funds to actually manufacture. It's a good one. And then also I like to see Shark Tank. If you're familiar with Shark Tank.
Yeah, right.
It's crazy how there's those products and services out in the States, but without the proper investments, they won't achieve or get to the places they have in mind.
Yeah, you need to spend money to make money. So you need investors. The guy that did Ring, he presented at Shark Tank and got blown off by that old guy with the old guy. And the guy told the Ring founder, say, "You're dead to me." And guess what? That guy.
The bald one, Mr.
Yeah,
Wonderful,
that guy.
Mr. Wonder, yeah.
That guy. He was an idiot.
I'm sure he's regretting it.
Yeah.
And then I think that if you get it to Costco, like if you get your product to a warehouse distributor, that's it, you're set for life. Imagine just how many Costco's are there across the whole world now.
Yeah.
If you get your product into Costco. Motorcycle to the front. Oh, to the back. Sorry. Dale agua, dale agua. Dale agua al perro, vamos. Are you gonna head back to town?
Yeah.
Pleasure, man. I got your business card.
Yeah.
You got my contact. Send me an email.
Okay. Yeah.
Dale agua.
See you.
Nice meeting you.
Take care.
Dale agua.
Let's go.
Cárgalo bien porque está grabando.
Toma.
Cárgalo ya.
Bye, buddy. Bye.
Para que te siga, no para que se lo des.
Up. 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 Bien bateado frente a las todas. Agárralo, No, espera. ¿Gache?
Por eso mi papá se quiere ir.
¿Gache?
No. Estoy haciendo rato, vámonos.
¿Se ve una ahí?
Mira, queda otra. Queda una.
Dámela mía.
¿Quieres que entra? Mira. ¿Ya no entra?
Ahí nos vemos, suerte.
Dale, ahí nos vemos.
Ojalá que.
Parece que viene, es lo bueno.
Ay, se le cayó encima.
Front or back?
Front.
Back.
Back.
See ya.
This way.